The hardest throwers this season. We talk about velocity, right, constantly. And there's a thought that the game has evolved and pitchers are throwing harder. But, Bill, you say, wait a minute, let's look a bit deeper. Is that not the case?
Well, I do want to look deeper at it. And when I saw Ron Darling on this show, I was looking at this like 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago. I knew you would have the right brain power for me because you could speak the radar, the jugs gun, and all the different things that went through. And I think this stemmed, Ron, when people were talking about, okay, the averages were way down. And they were because of the high velocity. Right. And I think it has as much to do with the approach at home plate than it does the velocity. So I'd like to take a look at some of the crusty guys that we knew. And we'll take a look at this, and I got 6 guys that I want to put up from yesteryear compared to 6 guys that are throwing some absolute gas now. We can get that thing cranked up a little bit sooner. And I want you to look at this. So old guys on the left, there's Pedro in the All-Star game and DeGrom. Freeze that for me. So what we're trying to do, and my girl back in edit, Alex, she's got no agenda here. I told her to match it up when the release point.
She's not from Boston or New York.
No, she's got no agenda here. She's doing her video thing, and we're going to let this go. What do you got?
Wow, I love it. They're right at the same point.
It is amazing how these guys all sync up, even though they might start a little bit different. But let's play this thing forward and keep an eye towards the catcher's glove. Actually, Pedro's hit the glove a little bit sooner at 97 instead of 99. Garrett Cole in the big unit. There's 98 and 94. Once again, freeze that for me. They're both getting ready to go. So once again, these guys all get kind of in the similar position, right? And play this slow and then freeze it about the catcher's glove. One's 98 over here. The release point was supposedly the same. Big unit's ball's in the glove a little bit sooner.
Wow.
Just saying, 98, 94. Play another one for me. I'm not saying guys don't throw hard today. This one was interesting to me because when you stop, freeze this one right here. Look how far advanced this is, right, with Ohtani. And because he's very, number one, he's bigger.
That's right.
Right? And Moose is very deliberate up in here. But watch when they go. Let's freeze it again when they get to the power position and get ready to go.
But Moose is really quick from here to the plate.
He explodes. He almost jumped at you. Look at that. They almost synced up again, right? It's almost identical.
Wow.
This one's going to be 91 and this one's 94. Play it through. A picture's worth 1,000 words. I think a video can be worth just as much, if not more. 96 and 98 between Schill and Buehler.
Wow, this is a great choice, these two. Very similar on how they attacked hitters, right?
And here's our man Dan Plesac in Alvarado.
Wow.
A hundy. Freeze it. Now, we didn't have anything in the All-Star game on miles per hour here with Please. But if we're matching this up and we're getting Please out of the hand, this was his first pitch to Straw, by the way. So he might not even been loose yet. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're
But back in the day when we faced Please, we had him at 96, which we considered back then gas.
The elite of the elite.
96 is what we had him on the gun. Play it forward, please. That's a hundy.
Wow.
That's a hundy.
What a great job by Alex. It's so subtle, so close. And for some, you're talking about, people are saying there's 4 miles an hour difference.
So, and what we could do, this could be a split second either way, right? When we're matching up. Obviously, our footage here is grainy. But the point is, on video, the time doesn't lie. From hand to glove, doesn't matter if this is grainy video or not. The time's going to be the same. And then this last one I want you to look at because you played with Eck and you knew what we had Eck at. And before we get it going, freeze that for me just 1 minute. Fairbanks throwing 98, 99 miles an hour, got the save last night. We had Eck at 92, 94.
Yeah, 92,
That's what we classified him.
We had him there. I was there.
Right. Now, the thing with Eck that he could do, he could hit that Nats rear end.
That's right.
Outer part of the plate for strike one almost automatically.
And who we got on the right?
This is Fairbanks.
Okay.
So play this thing forward.
So you got Eck at 92 to 94 and Fairbanks at 4 or 5 miles an hour difference.
Get ready to release point and freeze it for me again. He's a short armor and Eck's a slanger, but the ball's out of the hand at the same time, and then we play this thing forward.
Boy, this is great to see.
And kapow.
You know what's interesting about velocity, and you bring up some amazing points, is that the elite guys that throw hard today, there are plenty of elite guys that threw hard in the day. And if you look at it, I think honestly say there's probably more hard throwers because velocity over pitchability, as opposed to an X day, it was pitchability over velocity.
Right.
But the way they've measured velocity has been some of the funniest things ever. Bob Feller, many consider, threw as hard as anyone in the history of the game. So how do we measure how Bob Feller threw hard? Well, in his day, he used to get on the side and wait for a motorcycle to drive through. And as soon as it did, he tried to beat a motorcycle that was going at 100 miles an hour. So just sync up when he threw it and when the motorcycle broke through and the ball beat the motorcycle at 100 miles an hour. Wow. Of course, you always had to sign the ball. But what has happened now is that in my time, there was a thing called a jugs gun.
Right.
So all the scouts in their Sansa slacks would be sitting behind there with their jugs gun, and the jugs gun would measure how fast the ball would get to the plate. Not out of the pitcher's hand, to the plate. I remember I was in spring training with the A's and with late, great Dave Henderson. And we're looking on the computer, and it showed the ball out of my hand came at 91, and by the time it came to the plate, it was 86. And I said to Dave, what do these numbers tell you? He said, you know what those numbers tell you? You're going to get released soon. So it has been measured in so many different ways. Now, anyone who took AP physics or whatever knows exactly what gravity does to a ball as it approaches the plate. It's going to lose speed. They now have high-speed cameras on top of the stadiums. They have ray guns that measure the ball the second it comes out of your fingers. So you're getting the most effective velocity, the highest number you're going to get right out of the fingertips. So even the great Jacob deGrom, who's throwing 100 miles an hour routine now, by the time he gets to the plate, it might be 95 or 94. But his effective velocity, when you're comparing him with Pedro, the one thing is they release the ball in the same place, but deGrom might release it even closer to the plate because of the nature of his body.
Yeah, so I'm not saying, Robert, that the crusty dudes overall threw as hard as guys, because I do believe there's an uptick in velocity. But I can't live with the idea of thinking there's 180 harder throwers than Randy Johnson was in the game today, because almost everybody claims they got 6 of them on a roster. And last I checked, 6 times 30 is 180. And I just can't buy that, because those dudes I was showing you right there, they threw hard, and we never mentioned the Hundy around those guys. Right. The big unit, we talked about 98. That was legitimate. We talked 98, which to me means that might have been a $102 right now, a $103.
So you're now saying that Plesac threw 100. How are we going to deal with him at night? Yeah, telling him that he's 100 miles an hour.
No, I think he knew he threw 100.
And the fact that Bob Feller was throwing 100 in slacks.
Yes, with a tie.
That's a great stuff, guys.